Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of IGN House Call, a show that was named solely because, well, we're all in our houses and we're going to be calling a whole bunch of people.
Today on the show, we have Briana White, the new voice actress for Aerith in Final Fantasy VII, and we figured we might as well get to know the person behind the voice of a character that most of us will be crushing on. Sorry, Tifa fans.
But first, tell us a bit more about yourself, Briana.
Hi everyone, I'm so happy to be here and meet you all. I am the voice of Aerith Gainsborough in Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I am also an actress in film and TV, and I'm also a content creator on YouTube and Twitch. I sort of do it all.
Jack of all trades or master of all?
I hope I would be a master of all, but probably not. Very much a jack of all trades.
Nice.
So tell us, how is it like going from streamer to voice actor?
It's been really interesting because I first was an actress. I've been an actress since I was very young. I went to college for theater, and so that's kind of my native language. So then but adding being a streamer in there just because I happen to love video games and I grew up playing them was really difficult for a lot of reasons, but there was some crossover as far as I'm very comfortable being on camera and I'm very comfortable sort of talking to an audience, public speaking, and the hard part was all the technical work that goes into streaming. Then when I became a voice actress, because Aerith is my first big voiceover role, the technical side of that really surprised me because audio was always my weak point with streaming. So I had to learn all about microphones and speaking directly to it, and they had to do all these knobs and adjusting things, and I was like, you deal with all of that. So it's been really interesting for me to see this is really challenging and different in some ways, but what ways are they connected? And at least for acting to voice acting is acting. So I was able to draw from that experience. For streaming, I would say because I have played so many video games, I was really good at battle grunts. I was really good at the ha, huh, hey, because I'd played so many video games. I was like, I know what these sound like, we're good.
Well, if anything, your audio at least sounds a lot better than ours right now.
Oh, thank you. I've leveled up since then.
Yeah. All right, cool. So what did Final Fantasy mean to you before you got the part? And what does the franchise mean to you now?
Oh, wow. That is a loaded question I could write a whole essay about. So I had never played Final Fantasy VII in 1997. I was more of a Nintendo girl back in the day, so I played, your typical Mario Kart and Mario Party and Ocarina of Time. So I never played the original Final Fantasy VII. My first Final Fantasy of the series was Final Fantasy XIV, and I went in hard on that game. I think the last time I checked, it was 1,200 hours in that game. I really, really love it. I think it's a really well done game, and it has so many elements that I love. When I started streaming, one of the things that people really liked to see me play was story-based action RPGs. So, or not story-based, but things with a good story and good characters that I could talk about. So things like Horizon Zero Dawn, The Last of Us, Life is Strange, even though that's not an action RPG. So Final Fantasy 15 came out, and I thought that's going to be a great game for me to play on stream. So I played Final Fantasy 15, and just with those two games, I was really able to see, oh, okay, so these two games have certain themes that connect them. And I've since learned that those themes really do recur in a lot of the Final Fantasy games. So when I got the audition for Aerith, I did all the research that I could, while choosing not to play the original game yet. So I learned a lot about Aerith's character from watching Let's Plays, watching Advent Children, from doing a lot of research and listening to the other voice actors. So I did my research, but I chose specifically not to play the original game because Remake is a different game. It's not exactly the same, and I didn't want to try and recreate it exactly. And also the original game doesn't have voice acting. So I had to bring something a little bit different to it. So that's what Final Fantasy was to me before. Now, Final Fantasy means a lot more to my life. I am eating, sleeping, breathing, drinking Final Fantasy. It is everything to me right now. And I think one of my favorite things about the Final Fantasy series as a whole is that it has this theme of this recurring idea of fate versus free will. And are we just our destiny? And Final Fantasy plays that out in so many different ways, whether it is in a good way or in a bad way, and sometimes both, like with Aerith. And that's something that just kind of keeps coming up to me in my own life, you know, with what we're going through in the world right now with the coronavirus, COVID-19 situation. You have to wonder, what are we going to develop from this? So much of the scientific community is communicating around the globe right now, and that's really a beautiful thing. We are collaborating in ways we never have before, whether it's science and technology or country to country. I think that if we look at it with the lens of, if this was meant to be, why? And how can we make the most of it? I think right now that's one way that Final Fantasy is really affecting me, and how can we do the most good with the situation that we're given?
Nice.
Wow. Okay.
Great. You could write a whole essay.
Yeah.
I really could.
I think we'd be more than happy to read it and put it out for you as well.
Yeah,
Oh, great. That's a great offer. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll start working. I got nothing but time now, right?
Oh yeah.
That is true. So Aerith instantly became a video game icon back in '97, and even like in terms of voice acting, people like Mandy Moore taking on the role, like that also skyrocketed her career. How does it feel to inherit such an iconic role in video game history?
So I never thought I would book this role because so many legends have voiced her. Mandy Moore, Andrea Bowen, Mina Suvari, who have all done amazing things in their career and are all very talented and amazing in their own ways. I never ever thought that I could book this role. When I got the audition, I thought to myself, this is gonna be a really cool opportunity that I'm gonna have that I'm never gonna be able to talk about again because I'm gonna be under NDA and I won't be able to say that I auditioned for it. Being able to be a part of it has kind of blown my mind every second of every day that I've been a part of this project. I still am surprised every time someone sends me a tweet that their name is Aerith or their daughter's name is Aerith, or that they have posters of this character on their wall, or how Aerith has inspired them. To be able to lend a little bit of me to this character feels so surreal, truly. I'm gonna do the best I can. I mean, the work's done, so I hope I did the best I could. I hope people really like it, but as far as legacy goes, it's just very surreal. There were a lot of moments, even during recording, where I thought, they got the wrong girl, I can't do this. I didn't believe in myself. It was one of the most challenging things I've ever done. But I carried through because that's what Aerith would have wanted me to do. Because we can only do the best with what we're given. And I thought, this is where I am here and now. The world is not going to get a different voice actress for Final Fantasy VII Remake. here I am. I have to really go for it and give it all I've got. And so that's what I've done. And I hope that story, me telling the story of how I don't feel like I belong, but I still did the best I could, I hope that really reaches people.
Nice. That was
Not a great answer. Wow.
inspiring.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, moving on. Are there any similarities between you and Aerith?
I think there are too many similarities.
Oh. Do tell.
I in meeting all of the voice actors for Final Fantasy VII Remake that I have met, casting did a really, really amazing job of casting people based on their essence and casting people who are similar to their characters. So Erica Lindbeck is Jessie. And if you love Jessie, you love Erica Lindbeck. She is the core of why that character is so amazing. John Bentley has the heart and soul of Barrett's love so intensely. And I'm just huge fans of them as people. They're really great. So in asking me what I have in common with Aerith, I can't help but think that because everyone else is so similar to their characters, I have to assume I'm similar to mine. But in the same note, that's way too flattering. And I feel like I'm not like Aerith. I'm not as positive as her. I'm not as hopeful as her. I don't believe in myself enough. But there are times when Aerith doubts too. And she tries to find the best in every moment. And I hope that I can rise to that in Aerith. So I think I would say I have a lot in common with her. But even there's that little voice in the back of my head that's like, you're not good enough to be Aerith. Come on, Briana. You know? So I have that struggle. I think we are a lot alike in that we're both very playful and positive, and we'll poke fun at you if we need to. But it still feels like a very tall bar, a very high bar to match, to meet.
I think I think characters like that are characters you aspire to be. And we really hope that you reach that level of, I mean, we think you can definitely do it. Yeah.
Thank you. I hope so too.
Yes.
Moving on to the last question we have. What advice do you have for aspiring voice actors who want to make a break into the video game industry?
So that's a tough one because I had never done a voiceover role really ever. I took some classes in college for voiceover specifically. I didn't have a voiceover agent. I didn't have a voiceover demo. I don't really know how I got here. So for me to share advice is very strange, but if I had to come up with some advice for voice actors, it would be that the core of it is acting, because I didn't have any of the other stuff, but I knew how to act. I know how to do that. I'm very experienced in acting. And at the core of voice acting is being able to live realistically under imaginary circumstances. And so the rest will fall into place, I think, if you really focus on the acting. Obviously, stack the deck in your favor in any way you can, because it's a really hard industry. You have to love every facet of it, and the chances are so low. But if I'm any proof, you can do it.
So before we let you go, is there anything you want to tell the people at home? Maybe stuff like where else they can see your work?
Sure. So you can find me on Instagram at It's Briana White, and that's sort of where I post my little favorite thing that I do every day, which is my daily self-care. And it's something that is really important to me because sometimes it feels like we just have way too much going on and we can't possibly care about everyone and also ourselves. But we should care about ourselves, and we should do one thing each day that makes us feel good for no other reason than it makes us feel good. And so you can find me at It's Briana White on Instagram for that little tidbit of my own little personal joy. But I'm also on YouTube playing video games at Strange Rebel Gaming. It's youtube.com/Strange Rebel Gaming, or you can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/The Strange Rebel.
All right, nice. Thank you again, Briana. You've been wonderful.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. You have such great questions.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you. For those of you at home, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share as much as you want. Do whatever you want. Make sure you don't stay up too long playing FF7 Remake.
That's
and
right.
And we will see you all next time.